Hey, what's up? Kyle from Cause 3D here, and today we are going to take a look at the Sabine Wren helmet. Now this is the one that we offer on our Etsy store, and we actually get the files from the Galactic Armory, and we think they did a fantastic job. So we're going to do a quick unboxing of what you'll get, and then we'll go through a quick build video on you. Alright, so let's just tear right into this. When we pack these up, we do the best we can to make sure that nothing gets damaged on the way. So, when you open up your helmet, you're going to have some paperwork with it, a little bit of information about our shop, how to get a hold of us if anything does get damaged in the mail. It doesn't happen very often, but occasionally it does. You're going to get a copy of the template that will show you how to cut along the way here, and a bag of parts. Now, we don't normally print these in red. This was actually our prototype model, and they usually come in a silver PLA plus. But let's get up close here, and we're going to put it together for you. Alright, so we're going to start with the basic helmet here, and this is an unsanded helmet currently, so obviously you're going to want to sand it and prep it for paint. But we're just going to do an assemble video right now. So the first thing we're going to do is install the back vent, and we'll see if we can do this easily on camera. So it goes in like this with the louvers facing down. So I'm going to use hot glue on the build video. Normally you'd want to use super glue on this, maybe even some epoxy, but in this case for speed we're just going to use some hot glue. So we've got our vent attached, and now we are going to move over to the left ear, and you can see where the posts are. This lines up pretty easily on this stuff, so we're going to add some glue to that. And while you're sanding and finishing all this, it is good to be noted that everything needs to be dry fitted to make absolutely sure that it fits before you attach it. So this piece here, we're going to want to make sure that we get that lined up correctly. Nice and centered there. And now we are going to move over to the right side of the helmet. And this is the trickier side right here. So first, we are going to dry fit everything to make certain it works, and then I'll walk you through this. This is a relatively new helmet build for myself, so I still always want to double check my progress on this as well. So let's get this piece glued in first. Alright. And now let's drop in our rangefinder, and then we're going to drop in this small piece right here. The way this works, I'll show you as soon as I get it glued in. I want to take extra care that we don't glue our rangefinder to the side of the helmet. So when you're working with super glue, in this case, it is going to be very important that you take your time and you don't have any squeeze out. Now this rangefinder simply slides in here, and the cover comes right over the top, and the majority of the glue when you're doing this with super glue is going to be right here. If you can get some on this small strip right here, that's great, and then underneath here is where I'm actually going to focus my glue if I were to be super gluing this on. Because the last thing we want to do is actually get and it's a little sloppy, but I'm going to redo that, honestly. So we want to get our super glue there as I glob it all over the place. A little there. Slide our stalk in, and that cover piece right over the top of it. Hold that there for just a moment. And then we're just simply going to move over and attach our rangefinder. Again, a little bit of glue inside this notch, and it should slide right on there. So there you have it for that part of the build anyway. And I would glue this in. Currently, I'm not going to mess with it because the friction fits really well. Now let's move over to cutting and fitting the visor real quick. Alright, so now we've got our visor template, and all we're going to do is take our X-Acto knife and we're going to cut out the outer side of the template here. You can do this with scissors, an X-Acto knife, whatever you feel comfortable with. But we're just going to get the basic shape of it here. And these templates do come from the files from the Galactic Armory, and they are pretty tight. So we're going to show you how to take this and trim it down. So what I typically do is just take a piece of cardboard, and we're going to trace it over first. And the reason we're transferring it is because once you get your visor into the helmet, once you cut your permanent Hobart face shield, you cannot go back and add material to it if you cut it too small. So to get a really good fit, I like to transfer it over to a piece of cardboard first. And paper works as well, but with your paper, it's a little flimsy to work with, which is why I just prefer using an old cardboard box. You can use a Coke box or beer box or whatever you want to use. Alright, so we've got the basic shape here of the visor, and now we are going to cut that out. Alright, now that we've transferred it over to a piece of cardboard that's going to give us some stiffness to work with, we're going to bring our helmet back over here, and the way these slide in is just straight through the top here, get it into the grooves. Now I am expecting this to be a little large to where it's not going to come all the way down. So we're pretty close. So now what I'm going to do is just go back, and we're going to do a little bit of trimming on this. So let's just assume it's catching in this area and this area, which has been the majority of my areas that I typically have to trim down. So at this point, I am just going to take my scissors, and we don't want to take off too much, but I'm just going to cut about a 1/16 of an inch off of both these bottom pieces here, just trimming it up nicely. I did notice that wing did stick over just a bit more than I wanted to inside there. So now we're going to go back in, dry fit it again. This is the part that if I was going to spend a lot of time on, this is where I'd probably focus a lot of energy, simply because we want to make sure it fits in there perfectly. So there you have it. So at this point, what I would do is take my template, now that I've got it in there nice and secure. Let's make sure from this angle you get to see what's going on in there as well. But it's in there nice and tight for when we go to put our visor in. So at this point, I would get my Hobart face shield. And always remember, there is writing on these Hobart face shields. This is a number 3. I would line up my bottom edge here, and this handy dandy little chalk marker, I would come in and just trace out where I want that visor to be. Now, because I do this in the shop, it's a lot easier for me to go over to the bandsaw. You can cut these out with a good pair of scissors. So Once that gets cut out, it'll fit in there just as well as the visor. And again, you can trim this once you get it in as well, but I'd rather make a mistake on a piece of cardboard before I committed to the actual visor material. So there you have it. Thanks for joining us this time on our, this is a very short build video on how to put together the Sabine Wren helmet from the Galactic Armory. And don't forget to subscribe, hit that thumbs up for us. It helps us get more content out there. And make sure you visit our Etsy store where these helmets are available from us. And we appreciate the support. See you next time.